How do we address polarization through the individual? That doesn't mean it's only for the individual. It doesn't mean it's individualistic, but it's through the individual and out to society. So I want to offer in these videos some tools for that, and I want to talk about the opposing energy or opposing force to polarization, which I have found to be dissonance. So polarization, of course, as we know, is the polarity of two perspectives, and we see that so much that this is getting stronger and stronger because there's more people who want to confirm their perspective and believe in that mutual truth and come into a community with that truth than to go across the line and to explore somebody else's truth. Now, dissonance is the opposite energy, the opposite force. Dissonance is taking two perspectives into yourself. And dissonance is not something we want to have. There's many theories that explore how people want to reduce their dissonance. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how becoming aware of the ways in which we reduce dissonance can actually be a way towards this type of internal reflection that leads to the peace that can be projected outwards and help to rebalance that polarized world we live in. So the good news is you don't have to worry about understanding anybody else's perspective. It's not about what they think. It's not about how they think. It's not an analysis of why they think the way that they think. You don't have to worry about all that. What you do have to worry about, what you do have to look into is understanding yourself. So that's good news and bad news, because oftentimes that is the place where we have the most resistance. In fact, that's why we put up these dissonance reduction strategies, is because we don't want to look into those uncomfortable parts of ourselves. So I want to present that concept, these dissonance reduction strategies. What are they? So these are the ways, this is the tool, this is the access to this type of reflection that will dissolve or can dissolve polarization in society. Dissonance reduction strategies are ways in which we choose to reduce the dissonance for ourselves. In cognitive dissonance theory, they say that these strategies motivate us to reduce the dissonance, but I'm actually going to explain it in terms of how we can look at these strategies so that we can increase the dissonance and not reduce it. And the reason why we want to increase the dissonance is because we want to actually be able to hold these perspectives in ourselves. So what are some of these dissonance reduction strategies? There's different things that people do to try to remove dissonance. One of these is to defend yourself. So you can think of the last time you were triggered, or think about a disagreement that you've had with a colleague, or think about an uncomfortable work situation or an uncomfortable relationship situation, tension in society, any of these things that have this energy of disagreement or tension, and think about the ways, what that does in you. Do you go towards defending yourself? Do you kind of avoid the situation and allow somebody else to take responsibility? One of the things that I do, or I have done, is that I try to find a group of friends that can understand my position and then confirm my perspective. So this is actually what I'm doing there, is actually giving more energy towards polarization, because instead of looking into becoming aware of this as a mechanism to reduce dissonance, I'm actually increasing the polarization by confirming my own perspective and my group of friends, which will maybe challenge me, but maybe they'll say, yeah, you're right, because we maybe come from the same culture and can understand the perspective in the same way. So where do we put our energy? Do we put it into increasing polarization, meaning confirming our perspective, or do we put it into understanding our own dissonance reduction strategy? Now, after you understand your dissonance reduction strategy, you don't have to do so much with it, actually, except become aware of it. Because you start to, when you become aware of it, you don't give it as much power. It doesn't run the show anymore. So it's not just you reacting. The more and more you become aware of it, the more you have a chance to respond to a situation instead of react. And also come to see what it is that why did you put that dissonance reduction strategy up? What it is in you that you don't want to meet. And these are difficult emotions that exist, or maybe thoughts about yourself that you don't want to look at. Thoughts of unworthiness or not good enoughness that we all are carrying around. And by putting up these dissonance reduction strategies, we don't look at these thoughts about ourselves. We don't want to see them, but at the same time, they're still there running the show. So the question is, what do you put your energy into? Or what do you want to put your energy into? It seems we're so used to putting our energy into the polarization part, we don't notice it so much. We don't think that we're contributing to polarization. And then we're surprised that there's so much polarization in society when in fact we are also contributing in some ways to it. Or this is what I realized about myself. And then when I was able to rather look at the ways that I tried to reduce dissonance, reduce taking in those two perspectives, I never had to go in and analyze and try to understand the other's perspective. I only had to remove those barriers in myself that didn't allow me to see something about myself. And in that, open up a space to include the other's perspective without so much the analysis part up here, but really the gesture of, or maybe in the energy of having more space and being more open, in that a lot of my own stuff wasn't standing in the way anymore. So this is the work. This is the work that a lot of people are talking about. And here I'm applying it to, in some ways, I'm applying it to political education, how we participate in our politics. I'm also applying it to organizational life, how we participate in the workplace, and taking the individual as the stance, as the foundation. So the work is both easy and difficult. Easy in the sense that you don't have to do it for anybody else but yourself, and difficult because you have to do it for yourself. And we've created habits that are very, very hard to break. But I've found that in breaking these habits and releasing some of these habits and allowing a newness to come in, and it becomes more open, you become more open to welcoming and including others' perspectives, even ones that you would never really agree with, but you have the space for them. And in that, you've just created a space where you kind of depolarize yourself and allow the other person in. That is really the true definition or true way, I think, to include for the work of inclusion. Please feel free to comment if you want to talk about your own dissonance reduction strategies. There's many, many more that other people can offer and we can learn from to see how people reduce their dissonance and inspire each other, I think, in that. Thank you.